Some stories begin with heroes, Thor, Odin, names you know. But not all tales are about the bright and the brave. This is the story of Loki, the god of mischief, the shapeshifter, the cleverest and most dangerous of the gods. Loki was never quite like the others. His smile could charm a giant, but behind it was always something unpredictable. He was the wildfire, the unexpected twist, the lie that sounds like truth. The gods laughed at his pranks, valued his mind, but never fully trusted him. For every problem he caused, he often found a clever solution. He was the source of the gods' greatest treasures and their deepest sorrows. Blood brother to Odin, yet destined to lead their doom. Was he evil? Some say yes, pointing to the pain he caused. Others see a force of nature beyond good or bad. This is the story of that complexity. The trickster who lived among the gods but was never truly one of them. We'll follow his journey, the tricks, the monsters, the act that sealed his fate and the fate of the 9 realms. By the end, you'll have to decide for yourself who was Loki, villain, necessary evil, or simply true to his own chaotic nature. To understand Loki, you must know his origins. Not Aesir, not Vanir. Loki was born of giants, son of Farbauti, the lightning striker, and Laufey, the leafy isle. A being of fire and earth, contradiction from his first breath. Though a giant by blood, Loki found his way to Asgard, charming Odin with his wit. Odin made him blood brother, binding them by sacred oath. Loki lived among the gods, but always as the outsider. His greatest power, shape-shifting, he could become anything. Animal, woman, even a fly. This made him invaluable, but also untrustworthy. How do you trust someone who is never truly themselves? Loki was chaos incarnate, a reminder that not all is as solid as Thor's hammer. He was companion, problem solver and jester, often saving the gods with his cunning, but just as often causing the trouble. The gods relied on him even as they resented him. He was the necessary complication, the agent of chaos that kept Asgard from stagnation. For a time this balance held, but chaos never stays contained for long. Loki's nature was to stir things up. He detested boredom. His pranks ranged from harmless to catastrophic. Once, he cut off Sif's golden hair, enraging Thor. To fix it, he tricked the dwarves into forging treasures. Sif's new hair, Odin's spear, and Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. Loki's mischief often led to the gods' greatest gifts. He caused problems, but his cunning saved the day. Retrieving Thor's hammer, building Asgard's wall, and more. He was both poison and antidote, the fire and the inspiration. The gods needed him, even as they grew to resent him. Loki was the spark that kept Asgard alive and always on edge. But every spark risks starting a fire. Not all of Loki's schemes ended well. After a war, a builder offered to rebuild Asgard's wall for the sun, moon, and Freya's hand. Loki convinced the gods to accept, but with an impossible deadline. The builder, aided by his stallion, nearly finished in time. The gods panicked and threatened Loki unless he fixed it. Loki transformed into a mare, lured away the stallion, and the builder failed. When the builder revealed himself as a giant, Thor killed him. Loki returned, leading an 8-legged foal, Sleipnir, born from his shape-shifting trick. Sleipnir became Odin's steed, the fastest in the realms. Once again, Loki's deception brought the gods a treasure, but at a cost. The wall was built on lies, and a giant died for it. Loki's victories were always tainted. The gods' trust in him grew thinner. Loki's legacy extended to his monstrous children. With the giantess Angerboda, he fathered 3, Fenrir the wolf, Jormungandr the serpent, and Hel, queen of the dead. Prophecy said they would bring ruin. The gods tried to control Fenrir, but he grew too strong. Only Tyr dared approach him. They bound him with a magical ribbon, Gleipnir. Jormungandr was cast into the sea, growing so vast he encircled the world. Hel was banished to rule the dead in Niflheim. These children were Loki's ticking time bombs, each destined to play a role in the world's end. The gods' fear of Loki deepened. His bloodline was a prophecy of doom. For years, Loki's mischief was tolerated, until one axe shattered everything. Baldur, beloved god of light, was invulnerable. Everything swore not to harm him, except mistletoe. Loki, disguised as an old woman, learned this secret from Frigg. He fashioned a dart from mistletoe and gave it to Baldur's blind brother, Hod. Guiding Hod's hand, Loki made him throw the dart, killing Baldur. The gods were struck silent by horror and grief. Their joy was gone. and they knew who was to blame. This was the crime that could not be forgiven. Loki's envy had turned deadly. The bond with the gods was broken forever. The seeds of Ragnarok were sown. Loki's fate, and the fate of the gods, was sealed. The Trickster had become the destroyer. There was no going back. The end had begun. Baldur's death was the turning point. Loki fled, but the gods hunted him down. They bound him in a cave with his son's entrails, a serpent dripping venom onto his face. His wife Sigyn stayed by his side, catching the venom until she had to empty the bowl, and Loki's agony shook the earth. While Loki suffered, the world decayed, endless winter, chaos and war. This was the prelude to Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. Prophecy foretold, the sun swallowed, stars vanished, earth trembling. On that day all bonds would break. Fenrir would snap his chains, Jormungandr would rise, and Loki would break free. The final battle was inevitable. The gods' doom was written. Loki's revenge would reshape the world. The end was near. Ragnarok arrived. The earth shook. Loki's bonds shattered, and he was free. Fenrir broke loose, jaws wide enough to swallow the sky. Jormungandr rose from the sea. Hel sent forth an army of the dead, sailing on a ship of nails. Loki, scarred and vengeful, led the charge against Asgard. The Bifrost Bridge shattered, the sun and moon were devoured, and darkness fell. Heimdall sounded the horn, the gods prepared for their final stand. Odin faced Fenrir, Thor battled Jormungandr, Freya fought Surtur, Loki met Heimdall, two old enemies fated to kill each other. Around them, the world ended. Odin was swallowed, Thor killed the serpent but died from its venom. Surtur set the world ablaze. Loki's vengeance was complete. The age of the gods was over. The world sank beneath the sea. And so the world ends. Loki lies dead among the gods, his vengeance complete. But in Norse myth, every ending is a new beginning. A new world rises, a new sun shines, and two humans survive to start again. What are we to make of Loki? Villain, destroyer, father of monsters, his actions doomed the gods, yet perhaps he was necessary. The gods' world was stagnant. Loki was the force that brought change. His tricks brought treasures and forced the gods to confront their flaws. He was the challenge that kept them sharp, the destroyer who cleared the way for new creation. Norse myth offers no simple answer. Loki is the outsider, the liar who sometimes reveals truth, the destroyer who makes way for rebirth. Was he misunderstood or simply a force of nature? The story is told. The evidence is before you. Now you must be the judge. What is your verdict on Loki, the trickster who doomed the gods, the end or the beginning?